Hey guys, it's Rachel here. If you're new to this channel, I make weekly acting related videos. So this week we're going to be diving in how to cry on cue. You guys have been requesting this forever. Today I'm going to be talking about tears and emotions, which usually combine with actors in performances to create something so magical that we see on screen and want to learn how to do. It's so important to know that tears don't always equal emotions. You know, as humans, as people on this earth, we all express our emotions differently. Like, for example, I'm someone that cries over like a cat video on Facebook, but then there's like some people that haven't cried in like 5 years, even though they go through some really nasty stuff. So that's just important to know when you're going through scripts, that sometimes even though it's a very vulnerable and deep piece of text, it doesn't always mean that you need to cry. But obviously some actors, some characters are expected to cry. You know, we always see those things like Savannah begins to sob right here. So yes, it is difficult. It is sometimes annoying when we see those things and we have those expectations, but it's all about emotionally prepping yourself so that you can get to that spot authentically and emotionally when you need to. So yes, today I'm going to be talking about how to get there emotionally. So maybe if you have trouble connecting to your character in that way, hopefully I'll give you some tips on how you can really dig deep and do that, which will help with authentically creating tears. But I know some of you are watching this and you're wanting to just know how to just like, you know, get those tears going. I will be talking about both instantaneous ways to get those tears and also how to connect emotionally, which will maybe help all in all to combine together to create that perfect crying scene that you crave so much. So yes, let's dig right in. So emotional triggers can be any kind of like taste, smell, feeling, anything that kind of triggers emotions for you, for your character. The way that I learned most about this is through this book right here. It is so great, and through also my professor Dennis. It's called The Work of an Actor by Michael Wilson. I had this textbook in my acting principles class last year and it helped me so much. It's actually the only textbook that I've read completely through. Emotional triggers are so important to identify in a script. So either you can use an emotional trigger to get you prepared in like that moment before the scene, like if you're emotional all throughout the scene, but sometimes there are mid-scene triggers, which means you just have to develop that emotion midway through the scene or throughout the scene somewhere. So Michael Wilson says there are 3 ways to use these emotional triggers. One way is to use the real life triggers. So obviously real life means what it sounds like. It's using your own past emotions, your own past events to creating this for the character. No, I'm not trying to say that you should think about a specific memory and go into tears and get super vulnerable and ruin yourself during this performance, because that'll be so hard to like snap back into this performance. But what I mean is by developing your core events and core emotions. This is talked a lot about in the book as well. A core event is an event that happens in a specific moment and triggers an emotion. And core emotions are the emotions that you get from those core events. So just for an example of a core event, dark core events could be something like failure, loss, pain, whereas some more lighter core events could be love, success. So events that surround these kind of things. So for example, if you're in like an abusive relationship and you have a huge fight with your partner, that could be a core event of like abuse. Or on the lighter side of things, say you get married to your partner, that would be kind of like an event of love. So yeah, as you can tell, it's important to realize how these core events can be put into a category like failure or loss or something like that. Because then if you're using the real life technique, you can identify events that happen in your life that go along with those core events as well. So for example, maybe your character is in an abusive relationship with their partner, but maybe in your own life you are in an abusive relationship with yourself. I know that got really dark really fast. So you can see how 2 different events, although different, can kind of combine to develop the same kind of feelings for you as an actor. So what I recommend is identify what kind of event your character is going through, figure out what kind of core event it is, and then try to relate it to an event that's happened or is happening in your own life. And obviously the same goes with core emotions. So examples of core emotions emotions are like joy, sadness, envy. And this is the same sort of idea. You know, every core event has emotions that are associated with it. So identify what kind of core emotions your character is going through and find those emotions in your own life and use those emotions when you're portraying your scene. And then another form of emotional triggers is the imagination trigger. And this is completely putting yourself in the character's shoes. So maybe you're really good at imagining. So instead of thinking of my own experiences and what I'm going through, I would completely identify the core events and core emotions of the character and completely play them out. That can be a way to reach those emotions, and also there's 50-50. So that means you kind of combine however you want to. The book says that these emotional considerations, so using one of these 3 techniques to develop these emotional triggers, this is what is going to separate a great performance from a good performance. It is so crazy what you might experience if you really dig deep like that. So some other recommendations just for getting there emotionally that kind of way. Identify your emotional relationships in the scene, whether it's somebody that you are sharing the scene with, so like a scene partner, or maybe you're talking about a certain person. Identify how you relate to them emotionally. So maybe you're talking to your best friend, or you're talking to your dad, or whatever. And in our own lives, we have people associated with so many things, like memories and feelings and sounds, you know. This is so funny and super personal, but I just think it relates to this. I have a chapstick that I used to wear all the time when I would kiss a certain boy, and it's been a lot of time since I have kissed this person, but every time I wear it, I think of them and I think of kissing them. So yes, identify what your emotional relationships are to these people and think about why you are emotional with them. Also, you can think about your environment. Right now, I'm sitting in this room that I grew up in. I've never moved houses in my hometown, so I just look at this room and I have so many memories. But yeah, just like identify the environment that this character is in. Hopefully you can look at the given circumstances of the scene, just like what's given to you, and find out where you are and find out why your character is emotional in here. Maybe they went through some experience, so maybe jot down some things that your character might be smelling, hearing, tasting in this room. Just jot everything down that you can so that you can get to know this character better in every single way that they think, that they breathe, that they taste, blah blah blah, but also so that you can become this character, so that you feel connected enough to develop into this emotion that they are experiencing. Also talked about in the book are pitfalls, which are basically mistakes that actors make. A huge part of this is making your face look a certain way, like you're gonna cry, which is so hard not to do. I know it because I've done it. It is so hard to not do that when you're like trying to look like you want to cry, you really want to cry, and maybe you're not getting there emotionally, so you make your face look some sort of way, or you breathe a certain way, or you just too dramatic. It's so easy to do. Also, another pitfall is don't over prepare. You know, do your research and trust that these emotions will come up naturally. Don't stress the tears, don't stress the crying. You know, all you can really do is get there emotionally, and whatever happens, happens. But as I said, some directors, some writers may expect characters to get to that certain point of tears in certain projects. So if you need to get those tears streaming, but you've gotten there emotionally and it's just not happening, I have seen some different techniques. People have told me different things that work for them, so I'm going to be showing you guys some of those today. So I would say a technique that a lot of people use is the whole keep your eyes open, maybe use a fan to kind of bother them, and that will help them to naturally develop some tears. I know I've heard of this, like people holding fans off of the camera for actors so that they can develop the tears. Oh my gosh. So basically it just like really irritates your eyes, like if you stare a long time, and especially if you have the fan going. Oh my god. Another thing that actors use sometimes are tear sticks. They look like this. Basically, they're like menthol, I believe. You know, like the stuff you rub on your chest if you can't breathe. I think the idea is to put it like right under your lash line, and they make your eyes sting and hurt, and that kind of is what evokes the tears. I've never tried a tear stick, but I would love to try one just for like the fun of it. So if you guys would like to see me try one, I would love to do a video all about that, just me, my first impressions on like trying a tear stick and how they help or whatever. Also, I've seen some like makeup artists put eye drops in actors' eyes. I guess that could work if maybe you have a scene that starts very emotional, or if they stop it right before you get emotional and have like a little break and they're like, okay, let's put some eye drops in. But as As you can tell, these instantaneous techniques won't always help you with like conveying authentic emotion. So you can combine both the instantaneous things and the emotional work and create something super magical. But yes guys, so that is all of my techniques on how to cry on cue. If you did like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also leave me any comments down below with video requests, any questions for me. Let other people know on this channel what kind of techniques work for you when you're trying to get emotional in the comments down below. Also, I'm currently holding an acting contest for monologues and scripts, so if you like that kind of thing, if you want to win some good prizes for actors, you should check out my video with all the information and submit. The deadline is August 6th, so it's very soon, but if you would like to submit, there is still time. I would love to see your video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, Acting is Lit My Life, if you want to see more acting related videos like this every single week. I also make random videos sometimes, don't kill me. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. I don't know why my hands are so active today. Bye! I look ridiculous. Oh my god. Oh, don't I look cute? Yes, girl. Yes, queen.